It was a Monday like any other, people waking up, the city slowly coming to life, until it wasn't. The day began with the usual routines, but something was about to break the familiar rhythm. December 15th, 2025. As dawn broke, millions reached for their phones, ready to start the week with their favorite music, news, or podcasts. For many, this ritual is as automatic as brushing their teeth, a comforting start to a busy day. But this morning, Spotify, the world's go-to streaming app, greeted users with an unexpected silence. No playlists, no podcasts, not even a single note. Instead of the usual soundtrack, there was nothing. Just a frustrating void. The silence was jarring, a stark contrast to the energy people rely on to kickstart their day. The outage hit at the worst possible time, right in the middle of morning commutes, gym sessions, and the start of the workday. People everywhere found themselves thrown off, their routines suddenly interrupted. By 6 a.m. Pacific, users from Los Angeles to London were cut off. The disruption didn't discriminate, it swept across continents, affecting people in every time zone. The disruption was global, not just a blip in one city or country. From bustling metropolises to quiet suburbs, the silence was everywhere. Commuters, office workers, and gym-goers all found their routines broken. The absence of music and podcasts left a strange quiet in places usually filled with sound. The mobile app, the main way most people listen, was hardest hit. Tapping, swiping, and refreshing did nothing but add to the frustration. Even desktop users weren't spared. Whether at home or in the office, the silence was universal. This wasn't a minor glitch. A quick restart didn't help. People tried everything, but nothing worked. The outage was total, and it was clear this was no ordinary hiccup. The outage exposed just how much we rely on seamless digital services. For many, Spotify isn't just entertainment, it's a daily companion, woven into the fabric of modern life. Monday mornings are tough enough. Losing music made it worse. The silence made the start of the week feel even heavier, as if the world itself had hit pause. For many, Spotify is more than background noise. It's a ritual, a motivator, a way to focus. It's the soundtrack to workouts, study sessions, and morning routines. When it went down, routines unraveled and stress levels rose. People felt adrift, missing the familiar beats that helped them power through the day. The silence was more than an absence of sound, it was a disruption to the rhythm of modern life. The world felt strangely muted, as if something essential was missing. People realized how fragile their digital comforts really are. The outage was a wake-up call, reminding us that even the most reliable tech can fail. The outage was a stark reminder. Our daily flow depends on invisible tech that can break without warning. Behind every song and podcast is a complex web of servers and code, all vulnerable to sudden failure. In a world built on streaming, even a brief silence can feel like chaos. The sudden quiet was unsettling, a reminder of how much we take constant connectivity for granted. Spotify's failure wasn't just technical, it was personal for millions. The outage touched lives in small but meaningful ways, highlighting how deeply technology shapes our daily experiences. The morning's quiet was a powerful symbol of our digital dependence. For a brief moment, the world was forced to pause and notice the silence we usually fill with sound. And for 1 hour, the world's soundtrack simply stopped. A rare, shared moment of silence in a world that rarely slows down. For users, the outage was a cascade of frustration and confusion. Songs wouldn't play, no matter how many times you tapped. Playlists froze mid-scroll, leaving people staring at silent screens, wondering what went wrong. The sense of helplessness grew with every failed attempt to get the music going. The app buffered endlessly or flashed a vague, "Something went wrong." There was no clear explanation, just a spinning wheel or a cryptic error message that offered no comfort or solution. Many were logged out and couldn't sign back in, even with the right credentials. Passwords were re-entered, screens refreshed, but nothing changed. The app simply refused to let people in. Offline music? Useless. Authentication checks failed, locking out even downloaded tracks. The very feature meant to save the day in bad signal areas was suddenly just as broken. Imagine gearing up for a run, only to find your playlist gone, the app unresponsive, and login impossible. Routines were disrupted, motivation lost, and the silence was deafening. Internet connections were fine. Spotify was the problem. People toggled airplane mode, checked their routers, and even switched networks. But nothing changed. Users cycled through troubleshooting, restart, reinstall, check Wi-Fi, nothing worked. The usual fixes failed, leaving people feeling more and more powerless. The core promise of streaming, instant, reliable access, was broken. The trust that music would always be there, just a tap away, was shattered in an instant. The "something went wrong" message became a symbol of lost trust. It was a reminder that even the most reliable apps can fail when you need them most. For that hour, Spotify failed at its most basic job. The silence was more than just the absence of music. It was the absence of connection, routine, and comfort. Users felt powerless, reminded that their music lives on distant servers, not in their hands. The convenience of streaming suddenly felt like a double-edged sword. The outage turned a simple morning routine into a technical nightmare. Coffee spilled, alarms missed, and the soundtrack to daily life was replaced by error messages. It was a harsh lesson. Convenience comes with vulnerability. The more we rely on these services, the more we feel their absence when they're gone. Our favorite songs are only a tap away, until they're not. In those moments, we're reminded just how much we depend on technology to soundtrack our lives. Outage tracking sites like Downdetector lit up with reports. Thousands of users suddenly found themselves unable to stream their favorite music, podcasts, or playlists. The digital silence was deafening, and confusion spread quickly as people scrambled to figure out what was happening. In the United States alone, over 32,000 reports flooded in within minutes, painting a dramatic picture of just how widespread the disruption was. The spike was instant, peaking around 6:30 a.m. Pacific, right as many people were starting their day, relying on Spotify for their morning routines. The UK saw over 10,000 reports, and soon, users across Asia began chiming in too, showing that the outage was truly global in scale. Social media became a real-time map of the chaos, with users worldwide sharing the same complaint: Spotify was down, and no one knew why. StatusGator soon confirmed what everyone feared: Spotify was officially down, and there was no immediate fix in sight. Fortunately, the silence didn't last long. After a tense wait, users began to notice signs of recovery. Within an hour, reports dropped dramatically and music returned for most, bringing a collective sigh of relief. Playlists reappeared and the world's soundtrack resumed, as if nothing had happened. But the brief outage left lingering questions about reliability, and many wondered how such a massive platform could go dark so suddenly. Even after service was restored, Spotify hadn't explained the cause, leaving users searching for answers. Their community page simply said, "Under investigation," offering little comfort to those curious about what went wrong. Users were relieved to have their music back, but the mystery of the outage remained unsolved, sparking speculation and debate online. The incident was a stark reminder of how quickly a digital giant can stumble, and just how much we all rely on these platforms to keep our daily lives in tune. As Spotify failed, users flocked to social media. On Spotify Down trended as people vented, joked, and sought reassurance. Memes about listening to my own thoughts captured the mood. Some demanded refunds, others just wanted their playlists back. The outage became a global conversation, turning frustration into community. Social media was the fastest way to confirm the problem was widespread. Screenshots and error messages spread instantly, outpacing official updates. For a brief moment, the world bonded over digital silence. It was a reminder: when tech fails, we turn to each other. With Spotify down, millions scrambled for alternatives. Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music saw a surge in interest. Audiophiles touted Tidal and Qobuz. Deezer got a mention too. Some dusted off old MP3 players or tuned into the radio. The outage sparked a real-time debate. What do we really want from a music service? Catalog, quality, or reliability? Most just wanted a quick fix, not a permanent switch. For an hour, people rediscovered old-school listening. The scramble showed how deeply we crave a personal soundtrack. Under pressure, Spotify broke its silence on X via Outage or Spotify Cares. "We're aware of some issues right now and are checking them out," they posted. Short, vague, but reassuring. The message confirmed the problem was on Spotify's end, not the users. As service returned, a follow-up post declared, "All clear, thanks for your patience." The crisis was over, but details were scarce. No technical explanation was given, even hours later. The community page still listed the cause as under investigation. This lack of transparency is common. Companies wait for full analysis before sharing details. Users were glad to have their music back, but the silence about the cause left some uneasy. The outage was handled quickly, but the mystery lingered. For many, it raised questions about future reliability. Spotify's outage wasn't unique. Big tech failures are part of digital life. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and even cloud giants like AWS have all gone dark before. Sometimes it's a bad update, sometimes a hardware glitch, sometimes a network failure. Companies rarely share details right away, focusing first on restoring service. The Spotify incident followed the familiar script confusion, social media frenzy, brief statement, then resolution. Each outage is a reminder. No platform is immune. Our digital world is powerful but fragile. One glitch can ripple across millions of lives in seconds. The outage was more than an inconvenience, it was an emotional disruption. For many, Spotify is a daily anchor energizing workouts, calming commutes, focused work. When it failed, routines crumbled and stress spiked. Music is a tool for mood and motivation. Losing it, even briefly, can feel like losing control. We curate playlists for every emotion, relying on instant access. Streaming's convenience means our soundtracks live in the cloud, not on our devices. The outage was a reminder. We've traded ownership for access, and access isn't guaranteed. Our emotional well-being is now tied to distant servers. When they go silent, so do we. The Spotify outage revealed a bigger truth. Our lives run on invisible digital infrastructure. We expect music, messages, and maps to work, always. Even a brief disruption feels huge because it breaks our routines. Our patience for downtime is shrinking as our dependence grows. For subscription services, reliability is everything. Trust is easily lost. Companies invest billions to keep us connected, but perfection is impossible. The outage was a small story about a big reality. Convenience comes with risk. We live in an era of instant access, powered by fragile systems. When one fails, the impact is immediate and personal. It's a reminder to appreciate the tech we take for granted, and to remember it can break at any moment.